on the run, no striking camp. We move quick and sudden in our own country. The priest lay behind ditches with the tramp. The people hardly marching on the hike. We found new tactics happening each day. We'd cut through reins and rider with the pike and stampede cattle into infantry. Then retreat through hedges where cavalry must be thrown, until on Vinegar Hill the fatal conclave. Terraced thousands died, shaking sides and cannon. The hillside blotched, soaked in our broken wave. They buried us without shroud or coffin, and in August the barley grew up out of the grave.
Thank you, Sean. We are honoured here to have this evening representatives from different religious denominations attending our event to show our renewed unity and solidarity, harking back to that ship of unity in 1798. We now invite Reverend David Conkey of Enniscorthy Presbyterian Church to read a reflection for us.
Sadly, human beings go to war against one another. That's why we're here today. But Jesus said to his disciples, "Blessed are the peacemakers." Jesus came to make us into peacemakers. But first he had to end the war that has lasted longer than any other war, our war with God. The Bible is the story of how God makes peace with people who have rebelled against him. St. Paul wrote in his letter to the church at Rome, "The human mind is hostile to God, for it does not submit to God's law. Indeed, it cannot." So God sent Jesus, his Son, to offer peace terms to everyone who surrenders to him. Jesus came as a mediator between human beings and God. God appointed Jesus to come and mend things, to restore our broken relationship. Paul wrote, "Since we have been justified by faith, we have peace with God through our Lord Jesus Christ." God promises peace with himself for all who trust in the mediation of Christ. We know that being a peacemaker is dangerous. Like in those old westerns, when they step into the fight, they're the ones who get the next punch. They become the target of both sides. It can be a thankless task. This is exactly what Jesus did. He took fire from both sides in order to win the peace. Human beings put Jesus on the cross, but on the cross Jesus was also willingly accepting God's just penalty upon our sin. Let's all take a moment today and ask ourselves a question: is my war with God over? Have I laid down my arms and gone to Christ the mediator for peace with God? And if I have done that, if I've been reconciled to God in Christ, am I now a peacemaker? Do I announce God's offer of forgiveness and reconciliation in my community and to my neighbours? For when God makes his enemies his friends, they will make friends with one another.
Thank you, Reverend. I would now like to invite everybody to join us in a rendition of the world-famous song Vula Vogue, sung tonight by Mr. Tim Corrigan.
At Vula Vogue, as the sun was setting o'er the bright meadows of Shelmaliu, a rebel hand set the heather blazing and brought the neighbours from far and near. Then Father Murphy from old Kilcormac spired up the rocks with a warning cry. Arm, arm, he cried,
for I've come to lead you for Ireland's freedom. We'll fight or die. He led us on against the coming soldiers and the cowardly yeomen we put to flight. 'Twas at the Harrow the boys of Wexford showed book his regiment how men could fight. Look out for hirelings, King George of England, search every kingdom that breeds a slave. For Father Murphy from the county Wexford sweeps o'er the land like a mighty wave. We took Camolin and Enniscorthy and Wexford storming drove out our foes. 'Twas at Sleepyshire our pikes were ricking with the crimson blood of the beaten yos. At Toberneering and Ballyellis full many a Haitian lay in their gore. For Father Murphy had it come over, the green flag floated from shore to shore. At Vinegar Hill, o'er the pleasant Slaney, our heroes vainly stood back to back, while the O's at Tullow took Father Murphy and they burnt his body upon the rack. God grant you glory, brave Father Murphy, and open heaven to all your men. For the cause that called you may call tomorrow in another fight for the green again.
Thank you very much, Tim. We next call on the recently elected chairperson of Enniscorthy Municipal District, Councillor Keith Dial, to lay a wreath to the memory of all those who died during the rebellion, and particularly here on Vinegar Hill battlefield, and afterwards to say a few words.
Company attention. Shoulder arms. Present arms.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, Reverend Fathers and fellow councillors. I thank you all for joining us here this evening to commemorate all those who died on this historic date in our nation's history. When thinking on the rebellion and the ideals of the United Irishmen, a famous quote from Thomas Paine comes to mind. Those who expect to reap the blessings of freedom must, like men, undergo the fatigues of supporting it. Such a quote reminds me of what a proud heritage we have here in County Wexford. In almost every rising and rebellion, Wexford men and women have been at the fore in striving for their nation's freedom. This year marks the 150th anniversary of the Fenian Rising, and although it too failed to achieve its objectives, it left behind men and women who in turn inspired those who struck again for Ireland's freedom in 1916. One such Enniscorthy Fenian was Charlie Farrell, whose famous quote, "Ireland will ever be free until Enniscorthy and every other Irish town runs red with blood," reminds us of the terrible price our ancestors paid in achieving the democracy we enjoy today. Wexford men and women certainly paid a terrible price in 1798. Over the space of 4 months, 1 in 6 of our population have lost their lives, over 20,000 people. This number doesn't include the many thousands wounded in the fighting, or the many thousands exiled to the 4 corners of the globe, never to set foot in their homeland again. It's such a pity that those men and women who died here on Vinegar Hill and during the rebellion never got to enjoy that peace and harmony that we enjoy today. It is therefore important that we look to the past and remember the sacrifices they made, and it's similarly important that we practice their ideals, particularly that of equality in our day-to-day lives, so it may pass to the younger generations and subsequent generations of Wexford men and women who will hopefully continue to enjoy peace and harmony and carry on the traditions of the 1798 in their daily lives. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Doyle. And to echo the words of Chairperson Doyle, I would now like to ask one of our junior reenactors, Mr. Matthew Murphy, to lay a wreath in memory of all those who died and to symbolise the tradition of 1798 being carried on by our younger generations.
Send out. Shoulder arms.
Thank you very much, Matthew. Before we close this evening, I would like to thank those all involved in preparing for this event, particularly the Reverend Fathers, staff at the 1798 Centre, the Pike men, women and children, Tim Corrigan for his beautiful rendition of Zula Vogue, Chairperson Keith Dial and Sean Dial speaking here tonight, and also the staff of Enniscorthy Municipal District Council who prepared the site for this evening and also attend it on an ongoing basis. On behalf of all those involved in this evening's ceremony, we would like to thank you all for your attendance and welcome you back to Enniscorthy Castle for some refreshments. Thank you again for joining us here this evening, and to end ceremonies tonight I would like to call on Mr. John Kelly, local post, to read a new poem commissioned for this evening's event and for all those whom we remember.
I wrote this in memory of 17-year-old John Sheehan, who fought and died under Milesburn on this hill on June 21st, 1798. I dedicate it to all others who also died on this hill on that day. The boy from Monaseed. 'Twas here he died, here held fast and yet unmarked by the crook of a June hillside, above valley and gap, above burning roofs of thatch, and a green bloody flag, torn, swept north, smoke spores blown. 'Twas here he died. 'Twas here he bled. His last drop seeped through cloth, ran down stem and foot to root, forever here his deathbed. No mother or any other soft hand to comfort or dead body ever cover. 'Twas here he bled. And here he lies, under every sinking sun and bright rising moon. This boy from Monaseed has died. Don't hesitate or fear to speak of blood and bone, from lad and dream that lays beneath. 'Tis here he lies.